All right, Fresh, let's go down to the state of Florida where we're at to Tallahassee. This is weird to say. The 5-1 Duke Blue Devils, they're 2-0 in the ACC. They're only lost to Notre Dame, facing the undefeated 6-0 Florida State Seminoles. At time of record, Florida State is a 14-point favorite. Over-under is set at 49 right now. Fresh, I think really my question comes down, is Riley Leonard playing in this football game? I haven't seen anything recently. I don't know if you have better information than I do on that game, but Duke's been doing this. People are sleeping on that Blue Devils defense. That Blue Devils defense is allowing less than 300 yards of total offense a game right now. Pretty darn good defense over there in Durham. What you got on Florida State versus Duke?
I think first off, Noles have quietly smoked the Hokies and the Orange the past 2 weeks. Ho hum, just go out there and beat the trash out of the two opponents, doing what they have to do ever since they survived that Clemson game. They kind of haven't had the spotlight on them for a couple of weeks. This is a chance right here for Florida State to really get that national chance to showcase themselves. If Miami wins a couple of games, gets back to being ranked, that puts that game back in maybe a focus point now. But this could be the last ranked team that Florida State plays. Right. This is going to be a chance for them to really – you've got to take advantage of it right now. You've got to show up before the ACC title game. You might not play on the ranked team. You've got to put it on. Everyone's going to be watching you on Saturday night in Doak. The tomahawk chop, Chief, throwing down the spear. You've got to make sure you take advantage of the opportunity. You can't let Duke come in there and take advantage of and use that national spotlight to go on the road and beat you in your own house. Because then, I don't care what happens, that might actually destroy your playoff hopes if you lose at home to Duke. I mean, Duke's good, but that actually will be a very big hit to you because of your lack of ranked wins, and a home loss like that would be very detrimental to everything you've tried to produce and put together so far this season. You've got to play a complete football game. And we talked in the preseason how there weren't many games that they would have on their schedule that at home, much less overall, they would have to take advantage of and dominate. We thought it would be more Miami. We didn't expect Duke to be as good as they are right now. This is actually a surprise game, but they've got to be able to maximize it. That means Jordan Travis coming out there, Coleman, Wilson, Benson, all the studs on offense working in sync. We've seen both the receivers throughout the entire year, really just make amazing catches and amazing plays, especially Coleman, who's just been, make the one-handed grab last week. These guys have been flying high, but now you have a chance with all eyes on it to do it to a whole new level. It's not just the LSU game, the opener. Show where you continue to have built the offense and grown the offense, week to week and game to game. Norvell, where's this defense at? Where's Verse at? I haven't seen Verse get in a multi-sack game. He's kind of quietly just done his own thing along with everyone else on the defense. They get in there, they do their work, they take care of business, and they move on. We want to get a dominant effort. If you really want to supplant yourself as a top four team and really tell the committee, I mentioned it's just win, baby, but this is one of those rare cases where Florida State needs to show up and they need to show out, and they need to dominate and get some style points. Verse comes out there, gets a couple sacks, whoever the quarterback is for Duke. If they come out there and maybe give up 10 points or less, it doesn't show that they're just a great team at Florida State. It shows they're an elite team because this Duke team almost beat Notre Dame, who almost beat Ohio State, who also beat, and then Notre Dame also beat USC. It just shows you talk the comparison across squads and, team to team. It puts Florida State at a high level of being an elite program. So this is a chance for them to really go out there. You cannot leave anything for chance. Do not let Mike Elko's Duke defense come out there and get a couple stops and get momentum. If Riley Leonard plays, he didn't play. He had a bye week on the 7th. He didn't play last week versus NC State. Maybe they were giving him a couple weeks to get healthy after that Notre Dame game. If he does show up, that's going to put a lot of pressure on that Florida State defense to maybe catch his mobility because he's a runner and a thrower. He creates things with his feet. Very similar to what Jalen Daniels did in week 1 for LSU. Using the feet, finding receivers, making the defense sort of lose contain, if you will, and exposing them. But Duke's going to have to finish it in all ends, and that's where it comes down to Jordan Waters running the football all day long, being very efficient, owning the line of scrimmage. Duke, if you're going to win, you've got to make this ugly, but you've got to score touchdowns. You cannot kick field goals against Florida State to win. You have to find ways in the red zone to punch it in. You would have beat Notre Dame if you found ways to score more touchdowns in the red zone. You've got to find that to happen here in Doak Campbell on Saturday night. Turnovers are going to have to be a must, shorten the field, but you've got to muck it up. Be yourself. Come out there, be ugly, be physical, take it to them if you want to have a chance to win. You got to, take the air out of the football, keep Jordan Travis and that Florida State offense on the sideline, long, methodical drives, That's how Duke's going to have to win this football game. We've seen you do it in the past, forcing turnovers, getting off the field and long drives. You're going to have your ultimate football game. You came up short versus Notre Dame at home. Can you take what you lessons learned in that football game and put them into a bigger spotlight to pull off a monumental upset? Probably maybe the biggest Duke football win if you win this football game in the what ever. This could be a
Yeah.
huge effort. So you've got a chance. It's all in front of you, but you've got to go out there. You've got to play your football game. Do not get caught up in some sort of arena ball shootout with Florida State's high prolific offense. Make it your football game if you want to win. Florida State, do what you have to do. Find ways to put your points up. Don't get too cocky because you're playing an elite football team. If you get cocky, going for it on fourth downs in your own side of the field, those sort of stuff, you might pay for it, and you might pay dearly. It might not just cost you a game; it might cost you a playoff spot. Just take care of business and focus. This is going to be, I think, another very, very good football game. Pads are going to be popping all Saturday night, but in the end, I think Notre Dame. I think the Noles win by 14. I think they get a late touchdown to cover the spread. But this is going to be a battle. If Riley Leonard does not play, I think it gets ugly early. But if Leonard is playing, watch out because Duke could make it interesting if the ball bounces their way late, but I think Florida State wins.
So I just pulled up Elko's Monday press conference transcript. He said Riley Leonard is currently day-to-day right now. So I'm going to guess that he's probably going to play in this game. If you're day-to-day, I think that it's going to be a hard time missing out on such a big game in your season. But maybe he goes through warm-ups. He did go through warm-ups in the NC State game, and they decided he just wasn't ready for them. He'll be 3 weeks removed from the original injury by the time this game kicks off. So I'm going to probably bet on the side of that he'll play in this football game. I went through and we can talk about all of the weapons that Seminoles have. Keon Coleman's been probably the best transfer in college football this year. We thought Johnny Wilson was going to be the top target for Jordan Travis, but look at everything Keon Coleman's done. 418 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns on the year, 29 catches there. He really does open things up. He's averaging almost 15 yards a catch here as well. He's been phenomenal. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Jordan Travis, he's a fringe Heisman person. He needs that marquee, put me on the map, like dominant game. Like, let me just show out how great I am. 4 or 5 touchdown game. It's not going to happen in this game. That Duke defense is really, really tough. Like I said, Lena have let up under 300 yards a game. They're only allowing 164 yards passing on the season. This is a tough team to throw on. And I think that that's going to be where Florida State gets really, really frustrated. Riley Leonard and making sure Jordan Waters gets the football. I like this kid a lot. I think they've been handing the ball off to him without Leonard in the backfield. He could really spell those because, like you said, Leonard's a dual threat quarterback, especially with an ankle injury. It's going to make things a little bit difficult for him run the football. Now watch, I'll say that, and he's going to run for like $125 in this game or something like that. But I really think that you could take away out of this. Throw a couple of wrinkles on there. Put Jordan Waters in a screen situation. Get him a little bit of space there. He only has 5 catches on the year, but he has 76 yards on there, and his long was 25 yards. So the kid, when you get him out there, I think the screen game could be very powerful in this matchup here. In the end, I'm going to go with Florida State because they're at home. But watch out for Duke. Really, really watch out. I like the Blue Devils and the points in this game. Riley Leonard playing. I'm close to saying Duke pulls off the upset here. I'm like, if this game was in Durham, the game was in North Carolina, I probably would just be like, forget it. Let's go with Duke. Especially if I was getting points, I would go with Duke then. I really think Florida State's going to win this. I think it's going to be close, though. I think it's touchdown or less type of game. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter there. I think Jordan Travis is going to find Keon Coleman in the back of that end zone. Doak's going to go insane there. They're going to be doing the chomp. They're going to be doing everything else to get really ready to go. But then Florida State's schedule really eases up the rest of the way. they really are going to need to make sure they handle their business and not get lackadaisical all the way up until the ACC title game where they'll probably face in North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of those games where you can't blow this opportunity because there's
Right,
not many left down the stretch.
right.